So obviously LG doesn't make cars, but it's a connected device company, and so LG is working on developing these in-cabin devices that really optimize your commuting time. So it recognizes each individual driver and the settings of, say, your seat and your preferred temperature and all of those types of things. And it also has health sensing technology. So it'll sense things like your heart rate, your breathing rate, the movements of your eyes, and it can tell whether maybe you're drowsy or something like that, and it'll optimize the cabin conditions to help keep you alert and keep you safe. Other things is it obviously recognizes sort of your typical routes to work, so it will make sure it'll give you recommendations on the fastest ways to get there in case there's traffic or an accident or something like that. But it also recognizes things as simple as if you typically get into the car with a coffee and maybe one morning you don't get into the car with a coffee, it says, hey, we noticed you don't have a coffee. Do you want to stop at Starbucks on your way to the office?
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. And like when you get into the car and if you go around, you can kind of see the screen here that's going to show you what the actual display there on the dashboard looks like. And then in a moment, this TV will likely show kind of what it looks like. But again, it'll sense your body position. If you're not sitting optimally in your seat, it'll make recommendations how you might want to adjust your posture and those types of things. It's also connected, obviously, to your work calendar. So it'll say, you know, you have a meeting at 9:30. There's traffic. You may not make it in time. Do you want me to patch you in through the console here? And it'll put you onto your video call through the console. So this is just showing you sort of the stats of what's happening in the cabin at any moment in time. So as you see, it's showing you the body position of the gentleman in the driver's seat, and then in the passenger seat, the gentleman in the driver's seat doesn't have optimal posture, so it's in red, and it's going to make recommendations for how he might sit to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more safe. It's detecting how many passengers are in the car. In this case, we've only got folks in the front seat, or sorry, the driver's seat and the passenger seat. It's got your heart rate stats over here on the left. You're detecting your stress level. It's detecting where you're looking through the front windshield. All of your stats at a glance here as you and your passengers are driving to your destination.
Basically, the cars in the future are going to have cameras that are watching us as we are driving. And there's a couple of things I like. A couple of things in that video I think are a little bit fluff. First thing that I like, if you have a camera and it can recognize who you are and it automatically adjusts the seat to the preferences that you had set it up before, that I think is really cool, because if you share a vehicle, say with your husband or your wife or maybe even your kids, and people are at different heights, they have different preferences, you know, like I'll borrow my mom's car every once in a while, and it's like I'm much taller than her and I don't want to adjust the seat because then I have to fix it up back to the way that she had it. But if you have AI and you have a camera and it's like, hey, Andy's here. Oh, I know Andy likes the seat back a little more reclined. You're going to be able to do that. So I think that is a really cool feature that we might see in vehicles in the near future using artificial intelligence. Now, the other kind of things about sensing when you're drowsy, I do think that is important, because if it does sense that, it could help you, remind you to maybe you need to pull away, or maybe you're really tired. It's like, you need some caffeine. Go get some coffee. That I think has some utility. But, the thing about your posture, like sitting and it's like, hey, you have a bad posture. Okay, I can kind of see that. Okay, yeah, maybe you should probably sit better. But like, do we really need that in a vehicle? So, those kind of things, I see some type of utility. Another thing that makes me worried about vehicles these days is just so many screens, and with distracted driving being such an issue these days, do we really want to put more screens taking video calls and touchscreen displays? Of course we're going to get to autonomous self-driving vehicles, but when we are driving the vehicle, we don't want to be distracted. One thing I would like to see is a heads-up display right on the front windshield, because rather than looking down like what most people do when you're looking at a screen and not out on the road, if they can get that heads-up display, and LG, man, they make a transparent television, so I'm sure they have the technology to put that right up onto the windshield so you can get some type of data, but then you could still see the road. That's where I really think it should go. Anyways, folks, this is just a quick video I wanted to make about what LG, out of all companies, is doing in the car space. But it kind of gives you a glimpse of what AI-enabled vehicles are going to look like in the future. Essentially, it's going to be watching us, watching our behaviors, watching our patterns. Like she said, if you normally have a coffee and you don't have one, it'll be like, hey, do you want to go to Starbucks? That's pretty interesting. I'm sure Starbucks would like to tweak that algorithm to make sure that you always get those reminders, but we'll have to see where this goes. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I got a whole bunch of these AI-centered videos, so you want to check that out, and definitely subscribe for more future videos. I don't know where this channel is going, but I will be here. Handy Bro, Handy Andy, signing out. I'll see you guys next time.